Welcome to Soulful Living. Hi, I'm Dr. Phillip Mountrose with my wife and partner, Jane Mountrose. Our special guest, Loola Mora, is here too. And this show provides timely keys and solutions for open-minded people who want to create a more joyful, meaningful, and prosperous life. And an overview here real quickly, 3 decades of experience in the fields of holistic life coaching and healing. We've also published different works. We're trainers, we're coaches, we're founding directors of IAHP, the International Association of Holistic Practitioners. And IAHP is part of Awakenings Institute, a nonprofit organization dedicated to creating a more loving world where the unique gifts that each individual brings are honored and nurtured, something badly needed. And today,
very badly needed.
today's show is about manifesting a bright future, also something that everyone personally needs and we collectively need. And it's a strategy. It's something you can apply today and going forward this week and going forward into the future. Please mention this, share this show with others that you know. And I welcome Loola Mora to the show too. Jane, an overview?
Yes. Yeah. Actually, when you think about it, manifesting a bright future is really what this whole show is about.
Mm-hmm.
Soulful living is about manifesting the life that you were born to live. And it is also about living fully and growing. And doing something special with your life that honors the truth of who you are on a soul level, which, and it all comes, we'll talk a lot about the heart. It comes back to the heart. So our manifesting kind of approach has a focus that really resides on a few different things. I'm going to mention a few of them here. The first one, which I suggested already, is connecting with the truth in your heart and soul. Heart and soul go together. The soul connects most firmly with the body and the heart. So your heart really, that idea of follow your heart is a guide for realizing your full potential. So that is the basis of everything that we do. And then from there, it's the daily focus. The main focus is on keeping your spirits up. So vibrationally, like attracts like. So if you're vibrationally in an uplifted place, you're going to attract more uplifted things that are going to excite you, things that are going to delight you. Whereas if you're in a low kind of vibrational space, we call it sometimes in the mud, you're going to draw to you more of those things: fears, anger, frustration, confusion, all of those things to you. So the main focus, or really during the day, our focus, in addition to whatever we're focusing on creating, is on feeling joy, happiness, love, gratitude, all of those things that resonate at that level, that are going to attract more of what we want to us, and more things that are going to make us feel joyful, happy, all those things. So we have those. And then another element that is really critical is clearing blocks where stressful emotions like fear, anger, all those things, frustration, confusion, etc., interfere with keeping your spirits up. And sometimes you may be doing everything you can to keep your spirits up, and gratitude's not working. Just happiness. Nothing is making you feel good. And it's really important to clear those blocks, and we're going to demonstrate a way to do that today. I'm very excited that we have with us one of our graduates, Loola Mora, who has actually been through our Manifest Your Dreams course and is manifesting her bright future. So this is going to be a wonderful conversation with the three of us. Before we go into some tips you can use right away, which is the ultimate goal of this show, we want to highlight the kinds of places where fast and effective healing processes like the ones we use really come in handy. Because they're, in terms of manifestation, there are some areas that are pretty common, like fear of failure. Who hasn't ever had fear of failure? Or fear of criticism from the people around you. when you reach out in an unconventional way, there almost in almost every case there are people around who are going to tell you you're crazy or stupid or whatever it is. I had a lot of it, very vocal and loud voices that I had to overcome, which and it's part of it. Then there's confusion, like, okay, so where am I? Where am I really wanting to go? Which is, and this is where following your heart becomes so important. Another one is waiting for the perfect plan as if it existed. I'll do it as soon as I have the perfect plan. Well, the perfect plan doesn't exist. We'll talk a little bit about that. Um, Another one is the how. We, not knowing how this could possibly happen. Like we were, Philip and I, at a certain point in our lives, we got to a place. We were successful on a 3D level. I was an architect. He was an educator. We had the trip, the vacations, the house, the cars. We haven't had children, but we had the dogs. We had the dogs, which we still have. Um, but it wasn't working for us. And there was something deeper for us to explore. But we didn't know how we could possibly go from where we were to a place where that would make us feel excited and alive about what was happening. And we can tell you that with the things that we have pursued, that it does happen. You're here for a reason. None of this is an accident, and you have something special to share. So it's really about helping that along and nurturing that. Then there are the obvious ones, which it's not to belittle them: no time and no money. How am I ever going to get from where I am now to where I want to be because I have no time and no money? We're so busy and so really all of our energy is going into going in a direction that we don't want to go in, that we can't figure out how to get from there to where we want to be. But we can, and that's what we're going to discuss too. And of course, then there are our limiting beliefs about ourselves and what's possible. And I think, if Philip, didn't you have some ideas about that? Some thoughts from you? I think you had a client recently that was
Oh,
a good example of
about what did you say,
limiting beliefs.
Oh, some limiting beliefs. Yes, sometimes, well, going back in my own life, I remember when I was an educator, my principal, I was having some conflicts with some of the staff. I worked with a lot of different people in this special ed setting, and it sort of came down to, would you like to be right or would you like to go forward? Something I still remember. Most things you don't remember, but some things you do. That was one of them. So I realized I would rather go forward than be right, even if I, quote, was right. So where I'm going with this, and where this person I was helping with, is being right can really set us back, hold us back. He had all the right reasons for what he said and did, and they actually were rather sound and valid and logical. But he wanted to have a relationship with his kids who wanted to have nothing to do with him because he was dictatorial and wasn't listening to them.
Well,
Even though
weren't
even
there
though what
other
he said
things like
was right.
nobody, everybody's against me, those kinds of things. Everybody's against me. All all of these beliefs that we have. It's like it's never happened before. Why do I think it's going to happen now? Those kinds of things.
Yeah, and so there's a certain amount of, everyone recognizes there's injustice in the world externally, and that's something we're all working with and trying to improve, and that's good and valid and useful, of course. And depending on your situation, you may have a lot of challenges because of your place, your socioeconomics, your race, certain things that have happened to you, and that is all objectively verifiable, and that is good to recognize. Then how do you internalize it? What do you do about it? Are you a
Right.
victim? Are you helpless? Are you hopeless? Is it all happening to you and you can't do anything about it? Well,
Yeah, things never work out for me. That's a belief that
there's a belief. It doesn't work
doesn't
out for
work.
me, or life isn't fair. Does that sound right?
Yeah, life isn't fair.
Because there's a certain element of truth of it, you can certainly, like this person I was trying to help, talk a lot about how things aren't fair, and there's a, you can argue it, and that's true. But do you want to be right, or do you want to go forward?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And it is interesting because it is, I think that if you want to manifest from a soulful place, it really is, it is about being in a humble place too, realizing that actually you're not the one who's guiding the journey. It's, there are forces above you who actually are supporting you, which is a good thing. But
Right.
also, your idea of what the way things are supposed to happen and the way that it's being seen from those higher places, they may not be at all the same.
Right.
And that's something we all have to weigh along with everything else. That kind of our 3D idea, like the kind of immediate, like we need immediate gratification or whatever, that may not be the way it's going to occur. In fact, it wasn't for us. It took us some time, but I think following our hearts, we also realized that we loved what we felt we were here to do so much that there was no way we could give up on it. And I think, Lula, you feel like you have a calling too, I know, and which is one of the reasons you're here. Uh, do you have anything you'd like to add to all of that? I mean, it's I know it's a lot,
Yeah,
but we want to help people to have, to understand that they can move forward.
sure. Actually, I'm gonna try to be quick. But yeah, in that like theme that we were talking about, like manifesting a bright future, actually, I start manifesting one of my huge dreams that is like getting certified as a coach, as a holistic life coach. And here I am. Actually, yeah, I already did all the program, and I can tell that the transformation that I have been like having is amazing, and that I know that I will keep learning. And actually, as a coach, we teach the things that we want to learn more, or most. So in that case, now that you were talking about the blockages, I have a very clear one that is like trying to be perfect all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't do things perfectly, so I stop myself to do it, to do things,
Right.
so
Right.
I was wanting to share that. So I started like being a coach before getting certified, because I used to work more like one to one. So I was being that like support, or that like facilitator for a lot of people that I work with. But like I knew that that was a part that I need to go deeply, like, and study. But there was always that like block, to moving forward and to
Mm-hmm.
waiting until the perfect moment, as you were saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you
So
have to, like, I have to be perfect. I have to have the perfect plan, and then if if I start taking these steps and they don't work, then I have failed, which is, there is
exactly,
no failure if you don't give up, and there
you're
is
right.
no perfect plan. And that's, I think that's one of the things that to me then is just such a relief that, okay, there is no perfect plan. And really all it is taking one step at a time, following the callings of your heart. Not what other people are telling you should do, but following those callings of your heart.
So
And
true.
then as you move forward, then more opportunities will reveal themselves. But if you don't start, that can't happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's not the way we think it should be. This, like, I'm going to have it all outlined, step, 1 through 10, and then I'm assured success. There is no such thing.
So you're listening to Soulful Living, by the way, if you just tuned in, with Phillip Mountrose, me, Jane Mountrose, and our special guest, Loola Mora, on manifesting a bright future. So stay tuned to keep finding out how to manifest your bright future.
Yeah. What do you think, Philip, about all these things we're talking about and the perfect plan and all of that?
Well, I think on the one hand, you, as we've mentioned, you want to start to trust your heart. Think of your life if you could do anything. okay, I'm in life. What would I like to manifest? And that may seem like a strange idea because you have all these conditions, all these things that we're facing, all these quote obligations and seeming limitations. We talked about some of the beliefs about having to be perfect and life isn't fair and so forth. But just take that aside for a moment. What if you have the canvas? What would you like to paint on the canvas?
Right. Yeah.
Because you can. It may not be exactly the way you would like in maybe an ideal fairy tale way, but it will be the right way for you.
Right.
If you proceed without having to try to be perfect, and some of it is going to be healing and clearing
Mm-hmm.
and
Which is great,
trusting your heart. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
that's
wonderful
part of it.
part of it because it brings such insights. Yeah. But I think another part of all of this is it. One of our teachers compared kind of what we can see as being possible, like you have a radar screen, and on your radar screen you can only see a small part of actually what's out there. There's no way that any of us can possibly see what's out there that might be possible for us in our future. And I want to tell a little story about this. I tell it fairly often. I might have told it on this show too. Um, that happened somewhat recently, a couple years ago. With our work, it's fairly well developed now, and we've been doing this for 30 years. So, so there's, we have a rhythm with it and everything, and it has exceeded our expectations, by the way. But when we have extra time, we think, well, what might we do? And so I was thinking at this point, we're organized as a nonprofit, so I thought, well, maybe I can look into getting a grant because we could use the grant for doing something about the healing techniques that we offer or different things just to bring them more out into the world. And so I started researching grants and found out, or confirmed actually, that it's not an easy process. It's a very technical process, and there are a lot of steps involved
Writing a
and
grant.
relationships and to write a grant. And so I was kind of looking around, but I was then looking at websites on the internet and kind of just to see what they had done. So I came across this nice nonprofit organization, and they had people who were older who helped people who were younger. That was kind of their mission, that they would volunteer to communicate with these younger people and mentor them. And I thought, well, that's really nice. And so I was reading down the page, and at the bottom of the page, it said, supported by Google for nonprofits. And I thought, that's interesting. I don't know what that is, but we have a nonprofit, so I think I'll look into it. So I went over to Google for nonprofits, and as we're a 501c3, which is technically a charity, we're organized as a church, and so you can apply to Google nonprofits for nonprofits, and then when you are approved, they have certain benefits that you can have, and one of them is free Google ads. So I looked into the free Google ads, and I thought, yeah, this sounds good. We could use some free Google ads. And Philip actually was the one who connected with them. And do you want to tell that part? Because it was just so incredible.
Well, anyways, the person told me the ins and outs and how to set it up. And at the end of it, he said, then you'd have like $328. I go, oh, that's a good monthly, stipend, good. He goes, no, that's $328 a day. I said, a day? Okay, sounds good to me. So I just told that to Jane. She sort of said the same thing. You mean $328 a month? No, $328 a day, which once you learn how to use it, you can use, and we can use that fully. Now we figured out how to employ that. So that was a pretty good, opening up our brightest future story.
Right. Right. So what it comes to, the $328 a day is based on having $10,000 of free Google ads every month. Wow. Which we now have. And that was completely off my radar screen. I had no idea that was there. So I was I felt guided to investigate grants, and it may be the universe, that was the only way they could get me over to the free Google ads.
Right.
But I followed it, and it is something that has been really beneficial to us, and I think other people too. We have free Google ads, or we have the Google ads that lead people to free offerings that we have, and we have people all around the world who connect with us on our website. And so some of them are in impoverished areas, and they can't afford anything other than maybe a free ebook that we offer. And so that's wonderful. And then connecting with people also who are interested in other things is good too. So it has been really an amazing thing for us. And
Mm-hmm.
if we had, well, I didn't know about it. I couldn't possibly have pursued it. So I
Right.
wouldn't know how I could, we could take that next step, but that was presented to us out from outside of our radar screen.
Right. So there's a lot of leaps of faith involved. So if you want to manifest your brightest future, we wholeheartedly suggest you do so. And we're going to share a little visualization with Loola in about a couple minutes here. But what I've come to really feel more deeply, people come to us and are interested in sometimes the offerings we have. We have a year coaching and healing program, which Lula's graduated from, and other offerings or just individual consultations, and they want to know if that's, they want to do that. That sounds good to them, or something else. And what I've come to advise people, and I really believe it, is to just trust that this is what you want to manifest and start taking your next step.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll get your own kind of Google ad, whatever that is for you. It may not be immediately. We didn't get Google ads when we started off. It took us many years to manifest that. But the point of it is
Well, they didn't even exist,
we
probably,
who
or they
knew,
might not
yeah.
have in that form when
So
we
the point
started.
of the story is follow your heart. Yes, it works. Keep going. It will work out for you. You can't know all the steps. You can kind of get a big picture sense of where you want to go, but the details, you can maybe know the next step or a few sketches along the way, but just follow that. You have enough to get to that next place, even if you're completely stuck now. And that's where some of the healing may come in too at times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And Lula, I'm curious, having gone through the manifestation course and our whole program now, what are some of the ideas that have been most valuable to you about manifestation?
I was listening, and the word process was really there, like showing up, and is first of all is understanding that everything is a process, but you need to start, and everything is going to start like making sense when you are like in
A
the
journey.
process.
We talk about it as
Exactly.
a journey,
That's the word.
like it is. Yeah.
Yeah, get in the
Yeah.
The
game.
journey. And wow, I can tell that I'm like, because I'm working on it, and I haven't like introduced that, but I start like manifesting a project that I dream a lot, and I'm already working with my husband on it, and I think it's gonna be already like not finished, because it's a process too, but I'm gonna start like sharing the first things that we already create. I
Mm-hmm.
think next month, so I can tell that I start manifesting that. Before graduating, I started like working with people and helping to heal. I want to be clear in this, is that we are not healing people. We help people to heal it themselves.
Right.
So we are facilitators. We help. We guide. But in that, like saying that, I already started helping people with the tools that I learned, and I'm learning to. So I'm healing at the same time that I'm helping people. I'm healing
Right.
myself. So I'm manifesting that gratitude, that connection with my soul, that love for me in a way, and to keep moving forward, and to understand that in my imperfection, I'm perfect. You know,
Right.
I
Right.
I changed that part of I need to be perfect. I'm already perfect with
Mm-hmm.
all the negative things or the mistakes that I do, for example. So I'm manifesting a joyful life.
Right.
I'm
Right. And that's
manifesting
really
my
what, and
career.
ultimately, that's what we want, is to be happy and fulfilled.
Exactly.
And I
Yeah.
think from what you're saying too, we don't have to be perfect, but I think it helps to understand that we are always in the perfect place to take our next step.
Exactly.
And we're all magnificent spiritual beings. So we don't if we can get some grasp of that and accept that there is some, we are here for a reason. You know, you're here for a reason. Everybody who's watching or listening is here for a reason. And it is, and there's something special that each of us has to bring to the world.
Hmm. Yeah, finding that and
Yeah,
promote
thank
it,
you, Lula. Yeah,
promoting it.
it's so exciting if
It
you,
is.
if you can get rid of all the baggage, you know, that makes
Mm.
that drags you down, and
Yeah,
look at it from that more elevated perspective. It's just a joyful journey.
it is. So say you want to learn an instrument or playing an instrument and you play some wrong notes. That doesn't mean you're bad or wrong. That means you need to, learn and improve. And
Right.
that it's good that you can recognize that or get people to help coach you. Or you're playing tennis like I do and you make some mistakes. Hey, you're backing up too much. You need to lean forward more. So
Right.
why are you learning the instrument? What is it, the joy? What is it you're trying to serve? What are you trying to do? Why are you playing that sport? What is it about you and your brightest future that involves,
Right.
So are we ready for our little visualization for the brightest possible future then?
Well, just
Yes.
Lula, do you have? Oh, you're ready. I wanted to make sure we got your
Yeah.
comments.
Now,
I
now
think,
you mentioned you were before the show, Lula, about wanting more financial freedom, which of course a lot of people do. Is
and
that
I
what
think
you?
that's a great one.
Yeah, that's a great one that a lot
That's
of
what
people.
we wanted that too.
Oh yeah, a lot of people do. That's pretty
Yeah.
common. And it's good, that what that means and what that actually translates to is often a big difference from our imaginations and our fears and our programming and what it means to be a lived reality and a felt reality. And why do you want financial freedom? What does that mean, to you? And I don't know if that relates also to you mentioned a project, Lula, that you were working on.
Yes, but I think that project that I'm working on in the beginning is not gonna give me any income, you know, but like money, like the material thing. But in a way is my my channel to help one person, then maybe two, three, four, and to create a community. So when I have a community already, maybe it's the time to start receiving a little bit from that, But this project that I'm mentioning is more like that first step, or for me to share with the world, because you can access to that channel from any place of the world to receive. Actually, it's going to be in Spanish, that is my mother language, because I realized that there are people doing beautiful things and similar things already in English. So I realized that in Spanish will be great, and that actually is something that is a gift that I have to share, because it's the language that I speak more like with more freedom, and that's something. So, and that will bring me, I don't know how long it's gonna take, but some of that financial freedom, I think, because it's in the path of what I'd love to do. So when I'm saying financial freedom, is like receiving, creating, because it's not receiving, it's creating, like money, that money to pay my fixed uh, expenses, for example, to
Hmm.
pay my debts, and to have some extra money to have fun and to
Right.
support others. That's what I meant when I'm saying like financial freedom. And I think an important point is like doing what I love, like creating the money that you need, but doing what you love, I think is my dream. Is my dream, because
Right.
in
I'm
my
with you.
past in my past maybe I was doing what I love, but I'm not receiving like the
Hmm.
the amount that I was needing,
Right.
so that made me see more like to the future and say like, okay, I want to be more bold, and have like more to offer. And then is when I started like looking, because it was one of my dreams. I remember, and a friend told me actually 3 weeks ago, like, oh my God, Lula, you are manifesting your dreams totally. We have a conversation 7 years ago, and you were sitting in the kitchen telling me, I would love to help people not only with yoga, but with something that is a little bit from the physical part, with the mental part, with the emotions. And at that moment, I didn't know the word holistic, for example, and I was like putting all the information that I go through my like life together and mixing here with this and doing some meditations and like using my bells and putting some music, and okay, I'm gonna use an oil, trying to put everything together, all the things that I start like getting from different places, and
Right.
and look where I am right now, and
Right.
the way I
You're in a
met
good
you.
place to manifest. So I'm
Exactly.
hearing you say that, you have some plans, following your passions, following your heart, and you want to make sure you're also getting financially compensated. So that part is working too, right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Like I'm not starting to manifest that, like I haven't started creating the money, and that's the reason I want to work on it, because I'm still
Right.
having some like interference, or maybe I can call it
Yeah. And
blockages
that's why this
Right. Yeah.
visualization might help.
Right.
We
Yeah. And
just,
we all do. You think, well, how could this possibly happen?
yeah.
And we did too. But
Oh,
we,
yeah.
we kept going, and it's been more than 20 years that we've supported ourselves
Right.
doing this work, and I just can't imagine a better life. So
Right.
it is possible, and then what you want to do is clear away all that stuff to make it so the path can be smoother. So yeah, that's
Right.
perfect. Just what you
Yeah.
need to do.
Yeah. And before we do this visualization momentarily here, I'll just tell a quick story. A person that we were helping with at Victor years ago in this visualization I'm about to do with Lula, we went through that, and he had a journey and a visualization, and he wanted to, it was a similar actually desire of manifesting more abundance, more material wealth, to help him on his journey. And he doubled his income shortly after, a few weeks after doing this. Was offered
This
a job
process, right?
offered a
Yeah,
job of twice the income of, he was a physical therapist. So
yeah,
anyways, it's a
yeah.
good idea is to be open, because it may be off your radar, as we said in the Google Ads story, and just see what comes up, and know it may be tomorrow, it may be next week, it may be next year. We don't know, but it's, you're in that, you're going, that's where you're heading is the idea.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay. So you ready, Lula?
Yes, yes, yes,
You're in
I'm
your
ready.
comfortable, you just look very ready. Okay, you can, if you want, close your eyes and take in some nice calming breaths. Very good. And you're going on a journey as you inhale pure, clear energy, releasing, exhaling the old energy, becoming more comfortable there, relaxing, letting go, head letting go, neck, arms, midsection, legs all letting go, nice and easy, the way that's best for you. All the way down your ankles, feet, toes. It feels wonderful to relax, doesn't it? Letting go. So coming into your awareness, Lula, is a path to your brightest possible future, your abundant future. It's going to a wonderful place. You're becoming more aware of it as it lights up, and it may be kind of a visual or just a sensing of it. And there may be some bends, there may be a straight path, it may be rising up or going down. whatever is the right way for you. And along the way, you may notice an image or a shape or a stone or something you pick up along the way, maybe a shape of a loving heart or something else. And you can keep that with you if you want as you continue on your path to your brightest future. And you continue that shining light going forward. And the image or what you picked up is kind of radiating there for you, inspiring you. Maybe there's some inspirational sounds as well, calling you on to this higher track, this greater purpose, this greater reality, this greater future you're embarking on. Okay. So going further, you may see other beings. It may be your soul or invisible friends or people you know, allies, masters, angels, connections, support and guidance for you, encouraging you, giving you the tools and resources that are just right for you. And start to let us know what you're experiencing, Loola.
Okay, I'm like in the middle of the cosmos right now. And I'm seeing a 3D heart, like pink and purple, like moving in circles, like moving there, like in the middle, like it was like it is a planet, you know, but the shape is a heart. And actually, there are a lot of angels and fairies. I used to get really connected with fairies. So there's my grandmother as a fairy too. But all of them are clapping and happy. No, we're like with the stars right now. And we're receiving all the energy of that heart, that planet that is a heart, a purple pink heart, 3D. So I'm there. I'm smiling.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see myself, but I feel amazing, and I'm like flying, I think.
Where are you headed? Where are you going?
We are there, like around the heart, that planet with that shape, and we are having like a gathering. Like, okay, we're we have a mission actually. All the
Yes.
people, yeah, the fairies and angels, and I think I'm a fairy too.
What's the mission?
Give love.
Mm-hmm.
To give love and to help people to heal and to be happy.
Mm-hmm. And where is the abundance?
Can you repeat, please?
Where is the abundance, the
Okay.
prosperity, the good fortune there?
In the stars,
Okay. How so?
in the light, like they're shining like gold.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm shining too. If I see myself, I'm shining and spreading that light all
Mm-hmm.
around me. It's like light coming from the heart, like that planet in heart shape, to me, to my heart, and from my heart expanding all around, and like meeting with the stars, and everything is connected. So the emotional, the feeling that I'm having is that everything is going to be okay and everything is connected, and I will receive and create what I need.
Mm-hmm.
But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, I'm receiving that I'm magnificent. So I deserve all the money that I want, all the abundance that I want, because I'm abundance. Like actually, I'm all of the love and all the stars and all the light. So everything's gonna be okay. I only need to show up and to keep moving forward and being
Mm-hmm.
myself. That's what I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting right now.
Mm-hmm. So is that the image and the symbol, the shining light, or is there something else that is a symbol or an image or something? Or is that it, what you described as a symbol in itself?
I think like the space where we are, that is huge, like infinity, to infinity and beyond, something like that. Is like huge. So it's like sharing with me that everything is possible. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if I open to receive, I will receive what I want to create.
Mm-hmm.
That, yeah, that the only one who like limited, or the only limit that I have is myself, doubting
Mm-hmm. Right.
about my capacities and all the good things that I have to share.
Mm-hmm.
That's the message that I'm getting right now.
Right. So you do deserve the success. You deserve the abundance, sharing, healing.
Right. And there's coming another thing is believe, believe, believe. Because
Believing.
yeah, believing. Because I can get it mentally, and there's
Mm-hmm.
something in my heart that is telling me that. But I think like believing makes both things, like
Mm-hmm.
put those things together, and it's like constantly like coming to me. You believe, you have to believe
Mm-hmm.
in
Keep believing.
yourself and in the possibilities. Yeah.
Keep believing.
Yeah. Keep
Keep
believing.
in your heart the shining golden light, healing, growing, following your journey of abundance, giving it out, receiving it,
Absolutely.
staying with it, and continuing to believe you're a creator, a wonderful being, contributing and receiving as well abundance with all your guides and angels and fairies, people, beings there, cosmically, infinitely going on, infinite possibilities there that you're tapping into. Okay. Anything else before we conclude, Lula, with your brightest possible future journey?
Yeah, that heart that is moving is like, remember me all the time, remembering me that I have a lot of, I have too much love to give. And that sometimes I don't believe that that's something that I came here to give and to share.
Mm-hmm.
And that sometimes I get a little bit ashamed of that. And that's something that makes me
Mm-hmm.
special, and that
Right.
Yeah.
that love is more than money actually.
Love
And
is
if I
it.
believe, exactly, Jane.
Really. Yeah.
What was that, Jane, you said?
I said love is it. I mean, love
Yeah.
is the
Yeah.
solution. Love
Love
is
is the abundance of love.
Yeah.
Receiving it, believing in yourself, opening up to it. Very good. So you can thank your soul and your guides there,
Yes.
the
And my
gifts that
fairies.
you're receiving, the love starting to come back, Lula, coming back into the room, returning from your path, this wonderful experience of your greatest possible future, revitalized, stronger, more loving, more believing in yourself,
Mm.
clearer in your direction. 5, coming back. 4, well, we'll count you up to 5. 1, coming back. 2, remembering anything you want from this. 3, removing anything you don't want. 4, coming back refreshed and renew. And 5, opening your eyes back in the room with your brightest possible future in process, manifesting now.
Thank you, Philip. That was
How does
amazing.
that feel about creating the prosperity that you want?
Lovely. You know?
I mean, does it feel possible?
Yeah, completely. Completely.
Mhm.
Actually, I'm really excited, you know? Like, and
Right, and that's the thing with in terms of manifesting is that we want to be in a place, really it's with coherence with our own truth, where actually we are inspired to take the actions that we need to take to bring it into reality. That's, that's the ultimate goal, is to be in that place and be in the process of making it happen.
oh yes.
Oh yeah, and that you're on your way, and you did really well there, Lula.
Thank you. Actually,
Yeah.
yes. I'm like
Oh,
Look
thank you.
forward to what's going to happen.
energized
Yeah,
and
that's
full of
great.
love.
So we are going to, this is the kind of, this is a process we teach in our coaching and healing program upcoming now at this date and time in February 9th. And we're having a little preview webinar here. People can go to this Manifesting Your Dreams course free webinar. It's at this date, January 27th. That's gettingthrough.org
It's
/coach.
Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? Yeah, next
Yeah,
Wednesday.
I'll put a link in the notes here too. So that's something you might be interested in, some of you. That'll be a really wonderful overview of the course. And the course is Holistic Coaching and Healing, a certification which Lula has just finished. And there's that's getting through that org life-coach. There's a shortened URL for it, which is tinyurl.com/HOL coach, tinyurl.com/HOL coach. So there's some things some people might want to find out more about. Jane, do you want to add anything? Or Lily, do you want to just mention anything about your experience of the program or anything like that?
Wow. There are like is I can be like short when I think about it, but it's like I felt the call. Actually, the way I found you was like
Yeah.
magnificent. But if you are feeling the call, don't doubt. It's like try it because during the journey is where you are gonna like keep finding those like opportunities, that start showing you the way. So as we were talking at the beginning of this show, is like we don't have all the answers and all the plan together, but doing that first step. So I think something amazing from the program is that is not like you can do one of the courses and then like do the other one and then the other one and then you get the certification, because in my case I did 3 different courses that putting them together is the certification as a holistic life coach and healer. So sign for the one that you have like close, and you will see that you will want to keep moving forward and learning and getting all the tools, because it's not only for helping other people, it's for us too. I have been with you and with all the other students in a coaching for a year, and actually in a great timing with all the COVID situation. So
Yeah.
I'm only grateful because I'm ready to help people, but I actually am in a very good moment in my life right now, in balance and knowing that I'm not perfect, but at the same time I'm perfect today. So there are a lot of things that this program brought me. So I think like if you ask me, my advice is like Don't think about it. If you're feeling the call, do the first step and you will see. You don't have to have all the answers today, but you will get them.
Right. Thanks.
Yeah.
Lula. That was a great process you did too, by the way. Your life is going to change again and set something else wonderful in motion there.
Right.
I'm gonna
Brightest
fly then.
possible, brightest possible
Right.
future manifestation process there. Yeah. Um, well, anything else, Jane, before we close here?
Um, I think just follow your dreams, follow your heart. It's so important. That's what brings life. If we're following the things that we know we're here for, that's what gives us life,
Mm-hmm.
and it's worth it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what it's
Yes.
about. That's what
Mhm.
makes life meaningful and rich. And, since in a way you can do what you want, why not do what you want?
Right.
So remember the keys in this case of this show, manifesting your dreams, a part of the Soulful Living Show here with Phillip and Jane Mountrose every week. If you enjoyed the show, please share it with others, pass it on. Simple strategies like manifesting your dreams. And thanks so much, Loola Mora, wonderful guest. And we offer a lot of courses. We mentioned the upcoming Getting Coaching Healing program, uh, tinyurl.com/HOL coach, which you might want to check out. And we have another extensive website at gettingthru.org/holistic. So we value your support. Tuition for the courses and purchases support our mission of helping to create a more loving world. And you can share the message of love with those around you. Thanks again, Lula. Have a wonderful week.
Thanks to you,
Thank you,
Philip and
Lula.
Jane. Thank you.